What in the world?
This being Renan territory, I was prepared for a lot of things to look different. But this is a bit more than I anticipated.
The very foundations of the city have shifted. What could have caused this?
When Lenegis changed shape, it must have had an effect on the interior, too.
Maybe when they sent the wedge down to Dana?
But they wouldn't move around the places where people live. These are their homes, right?
I would think the citizens themselves didn't have much say in the matter. Either way, locating the Forbidden Zone just became that much trickier.
Dohalim? Is that you?
Avakir, I'm glad to see you're well.
So it is you! But why are you here? Shouldn't you be down on Dana participating in the crown contest? And these people!
So you haven't heard what happened on Dana, then?
Heard what?
Someone you know?
An old friend.
Hey, Dohalim, don't tell me you've started keeping company with...
They're with me. More importantly, what's happened here?
I'm really not sure. The city's foundations began to shift without warning, and now everything looks like this. We're all waiting for the Sovereign to tell us what's happening, but so far...
Avakir, listen to me. We're looking for the Forbidden Zone. Do you have any idea where we might find it?
The Forbidden Zone? What business could you possibly have there?
Trust me. The less you know, the better.
You're just the same as ever. I wish I could help, but what with the changed topography, I can barely locate my own home. Let alone the Forbidden Zone.
Very well. It looks like we'll have to find the way there ourselves.
Have you seen Faria yet?
No.
I see. Well, nothing much has changed with her. If anything, she's probably even more...
I can well imagine.
Why did you come back? You know it can only result in pain for you both.
I've no doubt of that.
You really are the same as ever. Fine, I understand. Just don't say I didn't warn you. And take care of yourself. Okay, Do?
So who's Faria?
Law?
If what Avakir said is true, it would seem the people of Lenegis are being kept in the dark about what's happening down on Dana.
They seem to be just as clueless about what's going on up here in their own world. Despite the fact that it's actually here that the wedge originally came from.
We need more information. Let's talk to the citizens, see what we can find out.
While we're at it, we can ask them about the Red Woman, too.
And don't forget about finding the way to the Forbidden Zone either.
Let's leave the talking to Shion. We can't have a bunch of Danins poking their noses around.
Good idea. I think that's for the best.
I shall assist.
You sure?
Being a lord on Lenegis has its advantages.
Right. Then we'll leave it to you two. The Danins among us should probably keep our heads down.
What if people freak out?
I shall explain it away by saying I'm leading you.
What are we, dogs?
What could be so important? It's worth it's just... unbelievable.
From how it looks, they must be siphoning off astral energy.
But why do all this? What for? Surely they can't...
Whatever their purpose, disrupting their siphoning process alone won't be sufficient.
He's right. We need...
This Forbidden Zone might be where we find some answers, right?
You heard him. We don't have time to stop and chat.
So, I've been wondering...
What do you mean?
Well, none of this happened by coincidence. But then, if they knew people were going to live here...
Ordinarily, yes. Trust me, as far as we were concerned, Lenegis was our home. Nothing. It makes you wonder whether the city was just built on as an afterthought.
Sorry.
Not at all. Sometimes this place is a mystery, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Everything will be okay now.
I know the basics of healing arts, but my skills pale in comparison.
Your lordship! Oh, what a great honor! I descended to Dana. During the last crown contest, I witnessed the deaths.
Indeed.
Sorry to interrupt, but we're looking for a woman.
All red, eh? No, I can't say I remember.
Yeah. What about down on Dana during the crown contest?
What's with all these questions? I've never seen her, okay? Not recently or otherwise.
Never mind.
Oh, dear me. What an unspeakable... Whatever did we do to deserve this?
You really have no clue what might have caused this?
Would that I have. Alas, there was no warning, no prior decree. His Highness must have deemed it unnecessary for us to know. We have no choice but to grin and bear it. But do my eyes deceive me? I believed he was on Dana.
Your eyes do not deceive you. It is I, one and the same. I have returned to fulfill a special duty, the details of which I cannot divulge.
As your lordship wishes. First, Lenegis mutates beyond recognition. Now this unexpected visit. Sovereign's plans are inscrutable indeed. The Ilkaris house has produced a great many lords over the centuries. I shall be praying for your victory in the latest crown contest.
Your good wishes do me an honor.
Is everything okay?
Oh, yes.
I was hoping to head this way myself.
I suppose the Sovereign knows best. I daren't stay here too long, though. I was hoping to avoid it.
You mean you know enough?
Lord Dohalim Ilkaris! What happened?
Yes, strange, isn't it? If you know...
But of course. Please forgive me. I thought maybe it was a passageway between...
It's worth investigating. I shall go and assess the situation.
You'd really do that for me?
Our lot in life is of little consequence.
Oh, why...
Well, we've canvassed the city.
No one has the faintest idea what's happened to the city after...
You'd think that info would easily find its way up here. Has it always been like that?
Not to this extent, which would indicate that something suppressed...
Given everything that's happened to the...
Yeah. That one guy even said his Zoogle had stopped listening to him.
Everything that happens here is attributed to the Sovereign. Nothing happens devoid of a reason.
The Sovereign? There is one thing I'm still not...
The Sovereign, of course.
Without the lords or anyone in the middle doing his dirty, that's a pretty big dominion for one person to rule over.
The points you make are valid, though I confess I'd never given it much thought before. Come to think of it. Shion, have you ever been... No.
No.
Neither have I. In which case...
Hold up.
Assuming what I believe to be correct, it's possible that no one on...
But what about trade and communication?
Not if the Sovereign is imposing his will on Lenegis single-handed.
But I thought you said that the Sovereign's all the way over on Rena. If that's... What if something were to happen to the city?
I'm beginning to wonder what the nature of this Sovereign even is. But Sovereign is also the title given to the
Whoever wins the crown contest inherits the throne from his or her predecessor, before becoming ruler over all of... Thereafter, that individual is known as the... As for how Volron factors into all this, at this point, I know...
3 centuries ago, I became the Sovereign here on Lenegis. 300 years later, we cross paths with Volron. That's not the only thing we have in common. We both...
Do you think Volron was made sovereign?
I can't say for sure.
But that would mean that 2 sovereigns would need to exist at any one time. We never did see Volron's body. Is a new ceremony underway with Volron at its center this time?
Wait a second. You don't think Volron and the Red Woman are... The ceremony can't go forward without the Renis Alma.
There's something else the ceremony needs.
Questions, questions, and yet more questions. One,
If the Forbidden Zone really is off limits to everyone but the Sovereign,
Then it's decided.
One of the citizens mentioned a passage that she thought might lead to another. Let's go find it!
With nobody left to run the show, I mean, there's sovereigns up on the Renan homeworld.
but Dohalim was a lord.
only current acting lords have power.
Even if the other lords were still around.
I wonder what they'd think if they were here. Balsif? Can't, now that I think of it. Aside from Doha,
Well, yeah, why to us Danans, they were just enemy.
I know. But seeing Renan,
It feels strange to...
yeah.
If you're that curious about every lord in their house, and luckily for us, the people...
I didn't realize.
And yet, weirdly,
It is the way things have always been.
Unquestioning acceptance of your...
Even so, the quality of life here... I used to think it was impossible to build an ideal society without
More to the point, not a...
What if she's not here?
It's still too early.
For all we know, she might be able to blend in.
tell me, Do.
And what skill would...
You know, when you're talking to people around town.
I'm afraid
I do. It's look imposing and speak in a deep, booming voice, and presto.
I would never stoop to such scandalous tricks. Any feelings of...
So there is a knack to it!
Now you've got me curious.
Let's see. An obsession with being elegant is a must. Oh, and it...
If you've a bone to pick with me, it'd be quick...
What? They look up to you, that...
Hey! What's.
I can barely understand a word they're saying. And what's with the weird poses?
I hope you're willing to take the blame for this one.
I wasn't expecting them to take me so seriously.
Yes! Yeah!
Balsef had it in him to care about someone other than himself? Really?
It's possible. A change in position can do much to alter one's perspective.
I guess she intended to spread it throughout all of Lenegis then.
Good thing the lines were down so she couldn't.
It almost sounded like she was praising them, too.
Maybe there was more to the guy than at first glance.
I shall refrain from commenting.
What?
Ganabelt was so horrible to people. Yet he was invested in helping Rena succeed. Doesn't that seem just a little inconsistent?
I'm perhaps biased in this matter, I admit. However, in my mind, while all lords vie to become the next sovereign, they're also meant to serve as guardians of all of Rena.
It seems like Ganabelt also had people he cared about until the very end.
So why couldn't he extend that to us Danans?
This area doesn't look as badly damaged as that other district we went through.
Pardon me.
I guess her willingness to stoop to any low came from a survival of the fittest worldview.
And some people here not only shared her belief,
Ridiculous. Okay.
It seems like the people on Lenegis don't really know much about Volron either.
I remember being quite surprised when the Lord of Ganath Harros changed so abruptly.
Didn't you have any doubts that something suspicious was going on?
On the contrary, remember, we Renans are raised to accept everything at face value.
When you think about it, the families of Ren...
yeah,
They must have had a lot on their shoulder.
Renans live in a world where strength and power, but their loyalty to their people is also strong.
That's what makes them the guardians of...
Right. It's the same reason Balsif hated my guts. And
Guess that makes you an even bigger...
So, Alphen,
Yeah. Balsif and the others, they all had their own circumstances to deal with as they went through.
Yeah, but still, just because they had loved ones in their life...
I know. What they did was horrible, but at the same time, they weren't incomprehensible monsters either. So I guess...
You're saying that they weren't bad because they were Renans, or because they... Even if they did terrible things,
Renwell.
am I wrong?
not at all.
Being a Danon doesn't make you a good person. I think that's something we've all...
Shion and Dohalim definitely...
And I'm going to keep doing my best to make sure I earn that trust.
There's something I just don't get.
What is it?
The crown contest itself has always gone ahead as planned, right? In which case, the current sovereign of Rena should be whoever it was that won the previous contest.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, who was it then?
Hanfricht Milgras, the former lord of Cislodia, if memory serves.
So then this Hanfried whatchamacallem, he's the current ruler of Rena?
The last I heard, yes. Though, admittedly, I haven't actually seen him since the end of the previous contest.
You're saying that ever since becoming sovereign, he's never actually shown himself on Lenegis?
I guess over holocom maybe, but not in the flesh. Same thing goes for the sovereign that came before him.
Now that you mention it, I don't recall anyone ever visiting Lenegis from the motherland, sovereign or otherwise.
And that never struck you as a little bit odd?
When you live here, it's as if you're conditioned not to notice all these strange quirks and discrepancies. The question is then, by whom? And to what end?
A new Renis Alma is supposedly created to coincide with every crown contest, meaning each victor is awarded their very own. In other words, if that's true, there should be as many of the things out there as there have been contests.
True, but going on what we witnessed in Pelagian, it didn't look like the sort of thing that could be made to order. But if even the victor's speeches have been part of some grand deception, then where are they? Quite frankly, I'm not even sure what to believe anymore.
You and me both. Though we are Renan by blood, neither of us even knew that such a thing as a Dark Master Core existed, remember?
With any luck, the Forbidden Zone might give us some answers.
No use standing around here chatting about it then. Let's get a move on.
Doe?
Faria.
Varia? Isn't that the person that Avakir guy was...
But why are you here? Wait, don't tell me you've given up on the nothing to say? Even though you kill?
I'm here to take care of something. If you wish to continue this...
Oh, of course. You always did prefer to take the coward's way out. But let me tell you, I haven't changed either.
If killing me will bring you peace...
Dohalim! What the—
First, I have business to take care of. If it's my sins are legion, let me finish what I came to do. Then you have my word.
Sure, that's it. Run away like always. You don't even have the courage to die. No wonder you leave it to someone else. You're just a coward!
Dohalim.
I apologize that you had to witness that.
Is it true? What she said about you?
Each of us have our past.
Before, back in Menancia,
The mistakes I made there were not my first.
Did you mean what you said?
She has more right to my life.
But you can't—
Whatever happens, I have sworn to put an end to the crime. I have no intention of expiring before I do so. Besides, you have just as much reason to kill me.
Do-
Forgive me.
though. This place is...
Yeah,
You think?
Before I went down to Dana, Avakir,
Tarnigan.
he was once my dearest close. Despite Faria's lower class upbringing, entranced by her playing, it was a time of great joy.
A friendship based on mutual respect.
I suppose it's natural you would.
I would have, now. I think the idea of breaking away from society's constraints and choosing your friends based solely on a... Besides, it was that way of looking at the world that...
Your praise does me too great an honor. And even then, Tarnigan had fallen for Faria. But fate...
What happened?
Tarnigan was no match for me in combat. But he was desperate and low on options.
You mean he resorted to dirty tactics to try to win?
How could I tell her? Combined with the trauma of losing her...
So instead you let her go on hating you.
That's not the same as running...
It is exactly the same. Unable to face the loss of my friend, and as for what happened after...
But if you hadn't become Lord, Menancia...
Shion's right. What other lord would have You've saved so many. You saved me. So, try not to blame yourself.
Frank as always, but...
do you think he'll be...
Yeah, I think...
It's important to have someone like that.
I didn't realize how difficult...
Sometimes just knowing someone's on your side can be enough.
I hope you're... Alphen,
Yeah?
I never appreciated until recently just how much you were always there to support me.
It goes both ways. You've helped me keep going more times than I can count.
Maybe, but I still wanted to say thank you.
I see a medic and supply officer over there. If they know you're with me, they'll... likely offer their assistance.
Have you guys checked your equipment lately?